What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Ark Survival Ascended video. And today, guys, we are taking a look at the Pyromane's abilities and its uses. Now, this guy is pretty much just a reskinned Shadowmane. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's a reskinned Shadowmane. It's got the same animations, it's got the same sound effects as a Shadowmane, so do take that with a grain of salt. It's got the same sitting animation where the legs don't curl properly around the side of the animal. Keep that in mind if you are going to purchase this DLC, but we're going to go over their abilities. I have talked about how to tame these guys in another video, so check that out real quick if you want to know how to tame these guys. First off, you can already see that we have two abilities just there in the middle bottom center of the screen. Flame Leap and Flame Absorb. Now, Flame Leap allows us to essentially do an extra sort of dash midair, and utilize that by utilizing your secondary attack key. So you right click on the mouse. Now it does have a relatively short cooldown timer, and you can also use it while on the ground as well. However, you do want to try and pair it with jumping to get that extra distance and to obviously get higher up onto areas. Now, the next one is the Flame Absorb ability. So what that essentially entails, if you attack creatures, you'll see there they do get set on fire. That ability does go green. We can actually absorb the flame from those dinos and fill up the bar underneath. Now, this ability is on a bit of a cooldown, so you will need to keep that factored into it as well if you do want to try and absorb the flame. However, by killing creatures as well, you will also absorb flame by doing it like that. So you can see here, we currently have this raptor on fire. If we kill it, you'll see that that also fills up the bar. Now, once the bar is filled up, or you could even do it when the bar is not filled up, you do get the ability to activate your flame boost, which essentially sets you on fire even more. I'm trying to get away from these other pyromanes. So if we activate the flame boost, you'll see there that bar will slowly start depleting, and our pyromane will get a very strange texture. These things are really ugly to look at as well sometimes. I really hope they fix that. Now, when you activate this ability, you get two new abilities. You do extra damage with your attacks, and your fire also does more damage. And you also get the ability to leave behind a flame trail by holding down the secondary key while you run. You can see there that activates the flame trail, setting the creatures behind you on fire. Now, obviously, other pyromanes are immune to this effect, so it's a terrible way to showcase this ability. And you also want to stay away from water sources, as this will pull you out of your flame boost ability and reset your flame leap ability as well until your fire comes back on. So do keep that in mind with these guys. You do want to try and stay away from water sources, as that will cause them to get put out. There are a lot of pyromanes here. But you can see here, we are able to reactivate our flame absorb ability and utilize it like that. So once we set everything on fire, also you can see that bar there is the amount of flame that that creature is holding. So for example, that is the maximum amount of flame that that creature can hold. So we're going to absorb all of that. And then we can kill the Carno as well to get more flame as well for ourselves. Once again, you don't need to actually have that ability all the way full. You can simply activate it whenever you want, and then you can activate those secondary abilities. So once again, setting yourself on with the flame boost will cause you to leave a flame trail when you activate it with the secondary key. You do not get this ability when you aren't in your flame boost, so keep that in mind. And this flame does last for a while, and you can kite creatures back and forth through it, causing them to take extra damage. You can see there it slowly does start running out as well. Now, another cool little thing that you can do with the pyromanes is switch them into shoulder mounts. You can see there, we now have our pyromane on our shoulder, leaving us without a tame to ride around on. And they also provide us with the Cuddled by Fire ability, which increases our tolerance for the cold, which is really good. Now, you can also whistle to attack your target with the pyromane on your shoulder, and it will cause it to spit out a flamethrower of an attack, causing the dinos in front of you to be set on fire. You can see there it did just pop it again. So this guy does help you attack your enemy dinos as well, so you can also utilize him to do that. So if you want to switch it to the shoulder pet version and then you want to actually jump on it while running around, I've figured it out. What you need to do is hold down R, and this brings up the radial menu for it. Now you can actually enable or disable the special attacks, change the fire source settings as well as ride the pyromane. So that is how you go about quickly switching from shoulder pet back into toggleable mount, I guess. So it's a pretty cool, unique way of doing it, and you can do it while moving. So it's cool to have the pet as well as the ability to switch into the Pyromane. I keep calling it a bloody Shadowmane. Now, one thing I want to quickly try out as well is whether or not you can actually ride one of these guys while you actually have one as a shoulder pet. Oh my god, there is so much going on. Can I just stop being arced for like 2 goddamn seconds? Here we go. All right, let's test this out now. There we go. So can we actually ride? Where are you going? So you can actually ride the Pyromane with a Pyromane on your shoulder, which is pretty cool. You can't obviously switch the Pyromane you're riding on to the shoulder pet, which keep that in mind. But that's a good way for you to get a mate boosted effect while only riding one of the Pyromanes, which is pretty cool. You can also then obviously jump off if you need to, throw it and do it like that, or you can switch in between. It does it by itself, apparently. Now, you can currently see here we have no fuel inside of these structures. The campfire has no fuel. The refining forge also has no fuel. Our Pyromane is actually fueling these forges. Now, it does cost food to keep this forge, this fuel going. And like I mentioned, you can change the fire source level. So if you don't want it to actually provide any fire to your structures nearby, you can change that to off. We've got it set to low, so it won't power as many structures that require fire, but it also cooks meat inside of its inventory. So you can see here, prime meat as well as cooked meat will get cooked inside of the Pyromane's inventory, which is pretty damn cool. Now, if you switch back to the shoulder pet as well, it still continues burning up your structures nearby. You can also throw the Pyromane and actually set it to rest as well in its tiny form, and it can just sit there fueling up your structures nearby while feeding on the troughs and everything nearby it. Now, in this tiny form as well, it doesn't actually lose any of its stats as well, which is really awesome. It does also have inbuilt flaming fur as natural armor as well, and obviously that will scale with the level of your Pyromane. So keep that in mind as well. But you can see there, we've just ended its rest. We can pick up this little cutie now and go on our very way. So these guys, you can see here in its adult form as well, it has 60 base ascendant flaming fur armor as well at max level. So keep that in mind. But these guys are very versatile. I honestly don't have an answer for you whether or not they are worth getting it. They're essentially a reskin of the Shadowmanes. Like, 100%, that's entirely what it is. But it does have new abilities. It's not necessary to continue on the center. It's up to you whether or not you want to spend the money to get these guys. They also do look very low res. I don't know what it is about them. They just don't look very good. I think it's the flame effect that they've got going on. But that is all their abilities and what you need to know about them. So guys, that's going to wrap up this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe down below for more, and I'll catch you in the next one.